first reading from Genesis chapter 15 of God making a covenant with Abraham is quite powerful. The Jewish people at the time of Abraham understood this covenant, and it was renewed throughout Israelite history. It had two characteristics to it. One was God's hesed, is an Aramaic word, his steadfast loving faithfulness. We hear time and time again that Israel was not faithful to the covenant and God wooed them back. Constantly, it's he, as we hear today, wasn't Abraham, it's he who initiated the covenant. He was the one that moved towards Abraham, and who was barren. The fruit that would come from Sarah would be Isaac. And of course, Abraham laughed at him as Zechariah laughed at the conception of John the Baptist. So you kind of have, it's interesting, the feast day we had yesterday and then the reading that we have today. The other characteristic of the covenant is a word, rakamim. That is a love that God uses to describe his affection for Israel. It's the love that a mother has for her child. And it's not just, it's an endearing love, it's a closeness. So as you see in the image of Mary holding Jesus, who is a young child, but also a man that's holding the book of the Gospels, that has his hand raised in blessing, who comes to us as the high priest. So you see that closeness between the mother and the child. God will remember his covenant forever, as we just sang in the responsorial psalm. So that becomes the covenant, the first covenant that was formed with Abraham. And so what we see as we look at this image of Our Lady of the Prairie, we see she who is the ark of the new covenant, the new Eve, has in her yes, has opened herself up to a flow and a movement of grace, which you see coming upon her and flowing through her robes. She who is the doctrine of the Immaculate Conception into our diocese as we bless this water, sending it forth throughout the diocese. And so this covenant relationship that we have with Mary, it obviously becomes fulfilled in her Son, who she holds, and you'll see that on his left hand is the wound that he experienced on the cross, so it becomes prefigured, and it's through the sacrifice of, as Abraham sacrificed animals, so God sacrifices his Son. And if you remember the whole story of Abraham taking Isaac up the mountain, and God put him to the test to sacrifice him. So what we have here in the covenant, that becomes a prefigurement of God sacrificing his own Son, that we would be redeemed, have eternal life, he would triumph over sin and death. In just a minute or two, you're going to hear me, and you hear this at every Mass, but I think because we say it at every Mass, sometimes the priest says words, we say words, and we don't think about what they are. Pray, brothers and sisters, that my sacrifice and yours be acceptable to God the Almighty Father. Abraham offered a sacrifice. What is the sacrifice that we offer today? Last evening, Father Sean read the deacon read the Gospel from John of the woman at the well. And then, so the first question that Father Sean raised in his reflection was, at what well are we drinking? That well has to do with that wellspring that is within us. So what is in there that we want to place on this altar of sacrifice today, that the Son of God coming to us, represented from Calvary here in an unbloody manner, and the bread and the wine becomes his body, blood, soul, divinity, wants to consume the sacrifice we offer. He wants to consume anything that we're carrying in ourselves, It could be wounds from the past, things that we didn't cause to happen. Maybe it was wrong choices we made in life that we're still asking God healing for. Maybe it's people, friends, family members who haven't practiced their faith in a while. Maybe it's thanksgivings and joys and blessings that I have received, and I want to just offer these in thanksgiving to God. So what stirs within us? What is that wellspring that lives within us? Because when we do that, the good gift that is given to us, which literally in its noun form the Eucharist means, is that he's going to bear good fruit in it. And so whatever we offer today, place it on the altar. And I want to thank our pilgrims for offering themselves in a sort of a sacrifice in your body as you have walked throughout the diocese. And it's not just walking and getting exercise. It's being involved in a prayer. It's being involved in a covenant relationship with Our Lady of the Prairie as she continues to unleash graces throughout this diocese through her Son who offers himself in sacrifice. God bless you for coming here today and offering the sacrifice that lives within you at this Holy Mass, believing that all of that will be taken up into the body, blood, and soul and divinity of Jesus that you will receive and send forth from here to bear good fruit. God bless you.